outside of school comes extracurricular activities. All right. All these wonderful gentlemen, I've never done it, but all these wonderful gentlemen have coached. Okay. And so there are different styles of coaching. All right. Them boys laughing already. You have, and I gave it the term, you have a gentle coaching style. All right. Oh, that's not him. A gentle coaching style, which I'm going, I'll let them boys say what style they are. And then you have a passionate coaching style. Now, parents are very particular on how you talk to their kids. Some don't want you to be gentle with their kids. Some don't want you to be too passionate with their kids. But all these guys have had results. I mean, they've won. There's trophies for the games that they've won, or the leagues, or the seasons that they've won. I want you guys to talk on what style is effective and why, and its importance to the kid. Like, it's really about the relationship with the kid and how you talk to them. But what style is effective? Why? We're talking about gentle coaching versus
Coach, you got 2
passionate.
minutes.
Nah, I might need more than 2 minutes. Now check me out. First of all,
starting passionate already though.
I'm gonna address that right now. Gentle coaching versus passionate coaching. That's I don't agree with that statement to begin with.
I wouldn't necessarily call it passionate.
I gave it the term
authoritarian. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Technically, yes. I love that term, and part of that I was also add in aggressive, militant, and I even throw in toxic, bro. Because a lot of the verbiage in there is abusive. Now, I'm gonna tell you how I even got into this whole idea of gentle coaching.
Wait, what are you talking about when you say aggressive? You're talking about the
authoritarian.
I know, but you're talking about the authoritarian coaching.
Yes.
All of that is included in that. Okay.
Yes. Now, the whole idea of gentle coaching came from the idea of gentle parenting. We talked about that on last episode.
We did.
Now, through gentle parenting, I learned a different way to communicate, with a child, right? So, getting into gentle coaching, which isn't a fairly, it's new. So it's not common, it's not used often, right? I started out coaching a sport in our community that was not popular at all. With that being the case, if I'm introducing something that's completely new to our group, I couldn't come with that type of coaching style. I couldn't do it. Everybody would have quit. You yelling at me, fussing at me, you got me doing this extra stuff on a sport that I don't know nothing about, I'm out of here. It wasn't like basketball, football, track, the popular sports where the kids showed up
already
with a passion or they knew what a three-pointer was. They knew what a touchdown was. They knew that already. They knew nothing about no volleyball. They didn't even know the rules. With that being the case, I had to adjust my entire approach. I had to get them to love the sport first. Make it fun. Like, we're enjoying this time together. We laughing and playing. And then, I'm also teaching you at the same time. So I had to grab their attention that way. And with that, establishing just a love, just being around, for us being around each other. So we had to even start off with love. I couldn't start off yelling and screaming and cussing, and they out of here. I tried that once, man. People quit. It wasn't working. You know what I mean? So throughout my adjustment, right? And I'm gonna tell you the cool part that I have learned through gentle coaching. It has given me an opportunity to have the kids reflect more on why they are here. Teaching them a sport that they don't know nothing about, getting them to love it. Like, why are you here? Like, they're making a mistake. I have to teach them how to learn. I teach them that it's okay to make mistakes. It's a process to learning. I have a slogan that I use with my players, love the process. If you can fall in love with the process, there's nothing you can't do. Because there are going to be good days and bad days. And more so through the bad days, if you actually find a way to have fun with what you're doing, you can't be stopped, right? So having kids, when they make a mistake, I ask a lot of questions to my players. Hey, why'd you do this? What were you thinking when you did that? If they do a rep, what did you think about that? Evaluate yourself. I'm trying to teach them intelligence as they're going through this process of learning these new skills. Throughout teaching them the process of how to learn, they can find a way to make certain things important to themselves. And I've seen it. It's creating intrinsic motivation for themselves. If a person can develop intrinsic motivation, you can't stop them, bro. You can't stop them. The same way you had a intrinsic motivation to learn, you saw examples of whatnot, but something resonated in you. Nobody could stop you. Nobody could stop you. That's what I love about gentle coaching, because I give them an opportunity to manage their emotions, and then now they can find a way to motivate themselves. Once you get a kid that's self-motivated, you can do anything with them. Anything. And because I've experienced that and I've seen the results of it, I'm never going back to that authoritarian style of coaching. I'm not doing it. My kids bug me, bro, to train them. They bug, and I love it. They on my shirt all the time. Coach, can I get some time? Can I get some time? Coach, when we doing this? When we doing that? They own me, bro. And I've created that through gentle coaching. I'm never going back. I never down my kid about messing up on a play. I'm not doing it. I'm going to take their ass out now if they fucking up. I'm going to take them out. But once they come out, again, it goes into the questioning. What did you see? Why did you do that? Show me what you're supposed to do. Okay, and then it's a confidence issue. I tell them how to develop confidence. It's a whole mental aspect to this, man. And if I can make them conscious of the regulation of emotions, it's helpful with sports in so many different areas of your life. I think it's just a lot of them they may get scholarships, they may not. Some of them might even want to go to college, but the overall gains that they get from learning how to control their emotions, getting to know themselves, being able to accommodate themselves in adverse situations, being able to help their peers and teammates, being good leaders, knowing how to be a good follower, it's valuable, man. It's necessary. You can get the same result, I would say even a better result. Get your kid to perform at a high level with the mental toughness, mental intelligence, emotional intelligence to go through an adverse situation, just as well as being what y'all call it, authoritarian. I call that shit fucking toxic. You dog cussing a kid, he's scared to make a mistake. Like that plays into their confidence, man. They get cussed out enough at home. I'm not finna do that. It takes time now. It's not finna.
Because I was gonna say it's what he's saying makes sense. The most important thing what he said was he introduced a sport to them that they were lame to. So everything that he tell them, they're gonna believe. That's the beauty of coaching young ladies. Because whatever you teach them, they're gonna believe that's how it works. Now, when you're coaching males in our sports, basketball, football, sometimes baseball, they come in with the idea that they're the next Jordan and everything else. You have to break bad habits. So that's when the toxic, in your words, come in. You see motherfuckers shooting fadeaways that can't make a layup. You see what I'm saying? So you if you call him to the sideline and say, what did you think? He gonna say, I thought I was fucking LeBron James. You see what I'm saying? So I understand that. My thing is, even when you're cursing at him or you're putting down on him, or however you want to look at it, that's definitely me. And I'm not shying away from it in no way. But what I've never had happen to me was a kid quit on me because he felt I didn't like him or her. So even being a toxic coach, screaming at them and fussing at them and everything else, they came to practice the next day. I take it as passion. Definitely do. I was very passionate about it. So I've never had a kid come to say, I don't play for him because he's mean. Because when practice is over, I can curse at you, fuss at you right now. What the fuck was that? And then they walk on the side looking at me and I'm smiling. Because I don't mean it. I just want to know what the fuck was it? What the fuck was that? What kind of shot was that? Who shoots the ball behind their head? Where you seen that at? Like, where have you seen it? You get an offensive rebound, the basket behind you, throwing it up this way. Where you see that at? So I understand that part. And that comes with football and basketball and everything else because in those sports, like volleyball is very, very technical. Even when I try to play it, I was like, yo, this stuff is hard. Like how you hold your hand, the placement, everything else. But in football, if you got a defensive back and you tell him he's in cover 3, this is your third in the field, and somebody run a slant and he follow, I don't have to ask you what the fuck was you thinking. You come off the field. Like, what are you doing, son? So, Coach, he's gentle with this volleyball thing. I played flag football with this guy. There was nothing gentle about this guy demanding me to throw him the ball every play. This was toxic. I felt like Donovan McNabb when Harrison was his receiver in college. I was afraid if I didn't throw him the ball, I didn't know how I was going to get home.
And I can't deny that.
That's
true.
what I'm saying. So it's when you introduce to a sport, you don't have to teach with aggression, because everything you show them, they're either gonna know it or they're gonna be trying to learn it. That's the beauty of working with young ladies in sports. And if you see like a guy that's passionate about, like, it's so much fun when you get them, and then they're loyal. They're more loyal than boys. A boy, you teach him how to dribble with his left hand, he's gonna go to somebody to teach him how to dribble with his right hand, and then you train them also. So it's rare that you see a coach and the trainer. When you get that, you're always gonna have success, because you're working with them more than just that hour and a half, 2 hours in practice. So like when I'm coaching basketball, I got them for 3 days a week for an hour after school. And then when I go to the game, I'm not expecting them to learn everything that I told them. I just want them to try to do what I told them. But then you're putting in work 24/7 with them socially. Like if they're making a mistake, they know how to respond to you. And it might be different with your co-coach. Like, it might not be the same relationship they have. Like, they might be able to come to you and explain the mistakes they made, but then when it's with the other coach, it might be like, I could talk to coach. Why you make that play? They might just shut down. But they come to you and say, why you make that play? I thought I can do it this way, and I didn't know that we hit twice already. And it's just because your presence is more felt in that way. And I think that's where it comes in at. So you're able to be gentle because you're with them so much, and you're seeing it progressively get better. And you see them like, all right, I only taught her this. I ain't teach her that. But if I was playing, I would have made that play, but I know she's not ready for that yet. Then when you get somebody come out there coaching and they telling you in PE that they can beat you in basketball, and then they go in the game and you see them struggling with kids their age, you quick to say, you ain't like that. You soft. You ain't like that. So even though you're not coaching them, you're their coach. You see what I'm saying? So you are giving them that hazing in a ways, and that don't be gentle.
What exactly are you referring to? What you talking about? I'm gonna talk my shit now.
Yeah,
if I'm competing, I'm gonna talk my shit. But I actually encourage my kids to talk shit.
Yeah, you have to. That's the only way you play sports.
So, but as a coach though, what I don't do while I'm talking shit, I don't discourage them. I talk my shit. Like, I'm about to bust your ass. This coming. There's nothing you can do about it.
I discourage them.
I say stuff like that, but I'm trying to get them to play.
Trash. If you let me score on you, you trash. Because I'm 40 and 260. I shouldn't be scoring on you, son. If you basketball player, you should be putting me in the basket. But nah, I completely understand, and I agree. And I think that everyone that's been around me when I'm coaching, it's been with passion and love. And over the years, I have been working on the verbiage I use. Right, the verbiage I use has to change, and it has changed. It's not going to go away though. Like it's a fuse. It's a ticking time bomb.
That's a big step for you though. Well,
yeah, from the beginning, right? You remember that?
Take that?
Yeah, from the beginning, it was.
That's a big step for you. I like that.
Yeah, I think that there's valid. Not the DC.
Show me some love.
I think there's value in both of those perspectives. I think there's there's value in, because I think the last time we talked, because I was telling you that I teach a course on what they call active parenting. Essentially, what it is gentle, whatever. And
do you mind starting off? What type of coach do you think you are?
me,
Yeah.
it depends. You know, I'm serious. It depends. It depends on the team that I have. It depends on the caliber of players. It depends on their willingness to be able to. So the problem is this. So majority of this. So let me go ahead. The problem is this, is that the problem is a lot of kids come in and they need, like, my biggest thing is you need your will broken, not your spirit. Your will being the fact of the matter is that you think that you're better than everybody. You think that you think that, and there's nothing wrong with having that confidence. The problem is when you think you know more than the coach and you can't beat the coach. You understand what I'm saying? And so like that, I remember I was working at the West and a lot of these dudes were saying like, yeah, I'm going to the league. I'm like, and I said, well, let's play one-on-one. And I said, I'm not even that good, bro. And you can't beat me. So let's really work and talk it through. And so I think the biggest thing is to, in some authoritarian coaching, I have to break your will. Your will is what you will do, what you don't do. It's either your light switch is on or it's off. Now, I'm not trying to break your spirit. What that means is I'm crushing you as an individual. Like I'm crushing your soul. Oh, I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna cuss at you. The problem is I don't have time in the game if I'm trying to win a game to sit there trying to coach them and pull you out. Now, this is why I took you out, because you scored in the wrong basket. What would you think? I don't have time to talk to you about that right now. I don't have time to talk to you about, like, to process what you were thinking. After the game, we can do that. So, like, I was coaching up in Miramar at one point, and they called me the bad cop. They called my assistant coach the good cop, because he could sit on the bench and tell you, you know what, coach pulled you out because he called a timeout and told you to do this play, and you did the complete opposite. You got a turnover. Now they scored a 3, got another turnover. Now we down by 5. So that's why he pulled you out. He didn't pull you out because you made a mistake. It was the mistake that you made, and in the wrong time. So the thing is, you have to talk, especially the boys. I'm not saying you talk crazy to them, but there's some point that in breaking their will, you have to really show them some authority, some level of authority as it relates to teaching them discipline. So my thing is, in anything that I'm doing, we always talk about discipline, direction, and dedication. So it's the discipline that I'm going to have to break your will to be able to teach you the right way to do certain things. Yeah, you can teach them. So practice, we had that motto, I do, we do, you do. I show you the play, I do it with you, then you do it. Right?
Teacher.
You understand what I mean? So
release model.
There it is. And so that's the thing that I do. However, in the heat of a moment, man, you make a mistake that's costing us the game right then and there. I don't have time. Man, get yourself out of the game, man. I don't have time to deal with, well, let me process this. And this is coming from somebody who's a therapist. So I don't have time to process that right then in the moment. After the game, we can process that, and then they will say, Coach, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a totally different ball game. I coached wrestling at Central, and I think when you come into a system where the school itself already has a culture, and the big sport is football, that has its own thing. So you come in under that. Like
Shout out to Coach Jew, by the way.
Oh, 1,000%.
Oh, yes, sir.
My bad. Jack.
You come into that, and so in your mind you're like, damn, if I can mimic that, I'm gonna get the same exact results. But what I realized my first year coaching was that just wasn't me. I can't be a Coach Jew. Like, I'm a pretty even keeled guy. I'm more methodical. Like, that's just not me. And so maybe the speeches, I could probably compete with you on the speech, maybe. but I think you got to see me in action, dog. I mean, I'm always booked. I'm booked and busy.
Malcolm Jew.
That's Action Jackson right there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm booked, man. I'm booked. But so I tried to mimic what I saw, and I did not get the same responses. And I also realized, and it goes back to what Coach was saying earlier, I couldn't connect with my students because I think they realized that wasn't me. And so I wouldn't call my style gentle, nor would I call it toxic. I just had to find something that directly fit me. I had to find something that allowed me to flow and garnish the results that I thought was the best for the team. And wrestling is a little different because it's an individual sport. So as a coach, I know that there are certain things that I just don't know how to do, especially because I didn't wrestle at the collegiate level. I didn't go to the Olympics. But I was good enough and I knew enough to assume the position of a head coach to make the decisions to bring the right people in. I had enough success to take a student, to build a student who has never wrestled before, district champ, regional champ, state qualifier. But I was a reflection of what he was. And I realized that once I got to the state tournament, that's a different level of coaching. And I wasn't prepared to enter that atmosphere. Like, I didn't have the juice to transfer to him. I went with what worked thus far, but once you get to an environment where you're in a stadium and there are a bunch of other mats, and he never seen the dog come out of his head coach, and he's defeated, and he's looking at me to cue up the band to say something that's gonna get him there. And I'm telling him something, and I felt like in that moment, maybe I needed to be a little more toxic, but I couldn't connect with him because I was missing something. And I knew at that moment that maybe coaching wasn't for me. Like, maybe that type of coaching wasn't for me. I got a ton of success coaching teachers, coaching principals, superintendents, but coaching athletes, I realized that just was not a space for me. So I'm pretty even keel on this topic. I can't go either way. I just know that it's all about finding the style that works for you, so you can flow, because your students, your athletes, they're going to reflect who you are. And if their coach is a dog, they're going to be a dog. But in that moment, they're looking for a dog to come out, and the coach is struggling to get it out. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, damn, this is but this is new. Right? Never been here before.
You can't beat him? Come on, look at him.
That's all you got.
Yeah, that wasn't it. That wasn't it.
Yeah, I think in a lot of spaces as a coach, your influence, will reflect with your players and how they act. In not all cases, but we have a lot of influence, so you can see that in their demeanor and how they approach the sport. But to a point you made, Gil, about not having time, we got timeouts, coach. Call a timeout. Call it that real quick. I had to say that. Call a timeout.
Zooming on his face.
Call a timeout, man. Just call a timeout. You got a timeout. You do have time. You got time. Now, a question I want to ask Gibson and Sumlaw, right? So, yes, you are. But I know y'all love the kids, though. I just would choose some different words at certain situations. And I trust y'all as coaches, man. I still, I'm not an athletic director anymore, but I really like looking forward to having y'all on my staff coaching our kids. But a question I got for y'all. Me or anybody else who uses the gentle coaching style, can you tell me what are my athletes missing by not using the authoritarian style? I know you mentioned taking their will, but like, can you think of some flaws with the gentle coaching style?
I would go in what Mr. Jackson said, the dog. The kid looked at him to provide the fire, to put the fire in him, to light the fuse. And he was like, he felt like he gave him everything he had already. So the being gentle, I'm assuming that was his approach, because that's how he was speaking on it. As far as that was his approach when he was coaching them throughout the year. It got him to 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, but that 4th step, it needed to be something else. Even like what the good coach and the bad coach, or the nice one and the mean one. On the staff, the same thing. He snatched him out the game. The assistant coach was there. It was like the bridge. They bridged that gap that time that me and Mr. Jackson coached flag football, and you was there as well. I was a screamer. At all times, I was a screamer. But you was there in my ear like, yo, that kid don't have it. Put this kid on him. Like I'm saying, that's the as the aggressive coach, it's something that I wouldn't make that decision, right? Because I felt I had the best kid at the position at that time. And from the outside looking in, I think that was needed. So as far as having that dog mentality, because even when we go back to those two kids, right? One of them was just far more superior athletically. But one of them was way more, it looked like he was more game ready for any situation. So as far as being a gentle coach, I don't think I would have saw it. I didn't see it. But you being a gentle coach, you're able to observe. You're able to ask them questions. I got time to ask them questions. Not in football. In a championship game, practice.
Coach, at the same time, you got timeouts, coach. Use them.
You can't. You don't get that many.
So I think you know why he asked this question is because he asked this question because he don't think that there's no flaws in the gentle coaching. So I think you and I have had discussions about this before. I think we just really use different techniques on being able to be able to quote unquote bring the dog out of somebody, right? And it was one time and I'm yelling at a kid. I mean, I'm yelling at him, and coach said, "Gip, he ain't got the dog in him." And I had to really accept the fact that like I see it, but he doesn't see it. So me yelling at him was not going to bring it out of him. Now, sometimes you know what, the thing is too, we coach based on how we were coached. Well, to some degree, because when we were growing up, some of the stuff that coaches were saying then, I don't think I wouldn't let my kids do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, I'm the only one.
That was military.
I'm the only one that can say
military.
That might be a better word,
military.
right?
So I think that there is not necessarily a quote unquote flaw in parent coaching. It's just different preferences.
It's a different time too.
And so like you can't yell like for an example, I feel like you can yell like first of all, time out. Gentle parenting or gentle coaching doesn't mean you don't yell, because coach yells, right?
No, I do.
He yells.
It's my choice of words.
You're talking about the words.
No, well,
They matter.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I agree. So I don't think that there's no flaw.
You say that again? You said you don't think there is no flaw?
You say this right here though. Look.
What you say? Say that one more time.
I do not think that there's a flaw in gentle coaching. It's just a matter of preference.